This is Kratom, and here in Thailand, although native to the country and frankly quite commonly used, not too long ago the plant was a controlled substance. But since 2021, Kratom has been effectively decriminalised, covering consumption, production, disposal and possession for any purpose. So what exactly are these strange green leaves we call Kratom? So this is a Kratom leaf. In fact, I have two of them. This one's slightly red veined and this one is, I think it's more of a white vein, or perhaps it's a green vein. I think it's a white vein, although it's a little bit hard to see. And Kratom does have a difficult to pronounce and scientific name, which I'll give a shot right now. So Kratom, I believe, is scientifically known as Mitragina speciosa. Kratom has been an integral part of Thai culture for centuries, although being criminalized from 1942 to 2021. Traditionally, the plant was very popular for farmers, especially in the south, and other manual labor workers. Kratom in small doses has a stimulating effect which is similar to the effect of caffeine. So it was often used as a useful little pick-me-up for especially for farmers and other labor workers. We can think of chewing a Kratom leaf a little bit like having a coffee break. In fact, comparing Kratom to coffee is a pretty accurate comparison, as the Kratom plant is a member of the coffee plant family, and it's an evergreen plant native to Southeast Asia. And like I mentioned, in small doses, chewing on Kratom has a similar effect to drinking a hot cup of coffee. Kratom leaves contain alkaloids such as mitragynine and 7-hydroxymitragynine, which interact with the body's opioid receptors, providing a range of effects from pain relief to mood enhancement. Kratom is typically divided into a few different groups, sometimes called strains, although I'm not sure if that is entirely accurate, but there are certainly sort of three different distinct Kratom leaves. So one of them is, and often the most popular, especially here in Thailand, one of them is the red veined leaf. So you can see the red stem and some of the red leaves. I actually have a red veined leaf right here. I also have a white veined leaf here, and so you can see this vein is colorless, and it has, well, it's not colorless, it's kind of a whitey yellow sort of color, and you can see the veins, or the other veins running across the leaf, are also a similar color. So just to give you a bit of comparison, there's a red one, there's a sort of white one. I hope you can see them. There is also a green veined leaf, and those are the types of three different Kratom leaves that you can get. Now, I said it's not necessarily a different species, and I could be incorrect here, but talking specifically about the Kratom leaves here in Thailand, both of those leaves were taken from the same tree. So it's not like there's different types of trees. Maybe some trees have like more red leaves and more white leaves, and maybe they are different strains that I don't really know about. Also, there's lots of Kratom in other areas of Southeast Asia, so maybe they do have different colours when they're at their sort of ripeness and ready to be turned into powder or consumed. But essentially what I have observed and what I've learned from speaking to a few Kratom farmers out here in Thailand is that what basically happens is when the leaf is new, it's kind of like got a green vein, and it probably has quite a low potency. As it grows, it turns into one of these red veined leaves. So this is supposedly, a lot of people believe this is when it's at its most potent, so that's why the red veined leaves are often the most popular or sought after leaves here in Thailand. And then finally you can see this leaf is much bigger, and this leaf is definitely much older. It's further down the branch from when I picked it, and so they go white eventually as the leaf starts to mature. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't differences between these leaves. Like we mentioned, there's probably like a peak ripeness or peak potency when the leaf is probably ideally ready to be consumed. In Thailand, that would be when the vein is sort of red for most of the leaves, I think. I think that's like the ripe moment to pick the leaf. But obviously people have different preferences, and that also makes a lot of sense, because maybe you want that stronger potency, maybe you want a lower dose, and perhaps there is a lower dose in the young leaves or the older leaves. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. That there definitely are different effects from the different colour leaves, although potentially they're not like different strains. While Kratom offers many benefits, it's obviously essential to use it responsibly. Start with small doses, listen to your body, and always purchase from reputable sources to ensure quality and purity. Overdose from Kratom is extremely rare, however, you can overdose from anything, so you do have to take care whilst using it if you decide you want to consume Kratom. It's also said that mixing Kratom with other drugs is when you're likely to start having problems, so definitely think twice before you're mixing alcohol, Kratom and other things. That might not be a good idea, and that does seem to be the case for people who do overdoses. They have a bit of a cocktail of different things, so that's one thing that I would definitely throw caution into the wind. Also, it is probably unwise for people with underlying health issues such as like heart problems especially, or liver problems. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be advisable for you to take Kratom, as like we said, it was like a slight stimulant, so maybe that wouldn't be too good for you. So with those cautions in place, maybe we could talk about some of the potential benefits and some of the potential reasons why people consume Kratom. I first heard about Kratom as a pre-workout boost. However, there are other health benefits from Kratom, such as Kratom can be a pain relief. It can also be used as an antidepressant. It can be a hunger suppressant. It's in small doses a stimulant, and in large doses a sedative. It's also very good, or reportedly very good, for people suffering from withdrawal symptoms from more serious drugs. And that is probably one of the main reasons why the pharmaceutical industry is beginning to look at Kratom seriously. It does seem to be a pretty good thing for people who are suffering from withdrawal symptoms. When it comes to consuming Kratom in the Western world, once again, probably because the plant's not native, so it needs to be processed, but in the Western world, it's typically taken in powder form. So people mix the powder into water and make a drink, or the powder is put inside little plastic capsules, not plastic, but you know what I mean, those little medicine capsules, and taken as a pill. So that is how you can take Kratom. Here in Thailand, however, most people seem to just eat the leaf. So what you would do is you would tear the leaf. You don't want to eat the stem. And then you would just chew on it. And you have to remember to spit that out. You don't want to swallow any of the veins, because some of the stuff in the vein isn't too good for your liver. So it can cause liver problems if you swallowed and digested too much Kratom. So what people typically do is tear the leaf, chew on it for a while, and then spit it out like they were using chewing gum. Also, I've noticed in Thailand that people make a kind of tea from these leaves. So what they would do is they would put a bunch of the leaves into a pan filled with water and boil the pan for a while, and then make a kind of Kratom tea. And you can see that being sold in bottles sometimes. But there are multiple ways to consume Kratom, and I'm sure there are more than I mentioned in this video. I would like to end this video by saying I'm not telling you or advising you to take Kratom. There are definitely plenty of side effects and health concerns for some people. The reason I made this video was simply to talk a little bit about Kratom, because it's kind of interesting and it's kind of recently sort of legalized, so it's recently new, and there's a lot of research being done into the plant now, so it does seem to be an exciting time for people who are interested in Kratom. And I'd made a video previously about Kratom that was pretty popular on this channel, so I thought I would make another update since I've learned a few more things. But yeah, I'm not advising you to take Kratom. If it's something you want to try, you should definitely speak to a doctor. I don't have any medical experience, but yeah, Kratom does seem to be an interesting plant, and maybe I'll make more videos in the future. But that's it for now, and I'll see you next time.